Good evening. Hey, everybody.
You good?
Miss Tony said, how you want to curd? Miss Tony said, how you want to curd? Miss Tony said, how you want to curd? What's up? What's up?
All right, here we go. Welcome. How's everybody? We're here. How people are y'all getting off mute? Can y'all? Okay, cool. Welcome. I'm just gonna check y'all's thing again.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey.
What's going on? We here.
So, welcome everyone to the Poor Artist Podcast. It is week 5. I'll give a recap of where we've been, where we're going. But before we do all of the things, Joe is gonna lead us into our grounding exercise and our ancestor veneration moment.
All right. So for grounding, we're going to take a deep inhale, deep exhale, and then inhale through the nostrils, and exhale through the mouth. Inhale one more time, nice and deep through the nostrils. Make sure you feel it in your gut. And then release that. Exhale. For our ancestral veneration, we're going to just throw up some names of folks that have come before us. Thinking about Red Fox today.
Audre Lorde is on my mind. I started reading Sister Outsider last night. So yeah. Who y'all got? We can't hear you.
You hear me?
What that white box say?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I have anybody, so I'm gonna pass it on over.
And they don't necessarily have to be related to you. It could be celebrities or answer like Whitney Houston, Nipsey Hussle, Tupac.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I still don't have
It's good. I'm just.
You threw out Nipsey, so I can say Nipsey. I'm feeling prolific.
Mm.
Yeah.
First person on mind, honestly, off the bat, is my grandmother.
We had a week where everybody was like, my grandma. So yeah, this is the Poor Artist Podcast. Of course, everybody, we're chill, we're relaxed, we just talking, we having a conversation. Joe and I are co-founders of Oda Dream, which is a creative consulting and incubation space where we're here to get resources to creatives. And we do that through what we're calling our Poor Artists framework. And it's really just pouring into artists, whether that looks like advice or consulting or getting resources, financial or in-kind, access to studio space, all the things, networking, leveraging our shared resources so that we can make sure that we get artists to a place to create. And over the summer, we got connected with the Artist Exchange Hub and decided to do this 6-week podcast trial where we're kind of talking about how we apply that framework to the work that we do. And so we're calling it Poor Artists, P-O-U-R instead of P-O-O-R, which we're trying to push against like the narrative of the struggling artist, the poor artist. And so week 1, we started talking about that, like how we are like ingrained in that as artists, like, oh, don't get that job because you're not gonna make money. You need to be a business major. You need to do this. And so like the first week was like really talking about like, where do we get it from? Like, did we hear our parents? Did we hear our family members? Or was it something we heard in school? And then like, how are we combating against that? The second week, we actually wanted to do like the numbers of it all. So we found like some research on like across the country, how like artists are like working multiple gigs, how They are making under $60,000 a year. Just a lot of different like statistics. And then we brought it to Baltimore, which of course the Black Arts District has a 5-year strategic plan. And so some of the things that we learned from the strategic plan, which is helpful for Older Dream to just look through and how do we support the Black Arts District, the artists in the city, is that like access to space was a thing, like access to marketing, things like that. So we felt like we were aligned in the work that this city needs, and just really talking through those numbers. Week 3 was like, well, we're talking about the POOR as like a mindset, an ecosystem, an environment, a system. But what does that sound like when like, despite this landscape of like those things, there are artists that are still like creating and doing stuff. And so we had 2 young artists, Ducky, shout out to Ducky. Today is his birthday. He's turning 20 today. So he had his single drop on the podcast with us, MIA. So go check it out. And then we had AJ from Dent Education share with us some poetry. So that was a really dope moment. And so that was the first half of the podcast. Last week, we were like, let's shift. And that's when we started to get into the pour to pour. How do we like operate in abundance? And so like that general like idea. So Sharan Lowe joined us last week. And now we're like, let's do a how-to episode. Like, how do you actually do it? Like, it's all cool and all to like talk about the big like theories, the big like vague inspiration moments, but like, let's actually see that in work, see that in practice. And so Creatively Mindful is one of those organizations that we just truly love. We talk about Creatively Mindful. They were the first group that like gave us a contract in the city, to like really work through. And so we're very thankful because they saw like us and was like, here's resources we have and let's share. They were the first people who were actually putting that in practice as a company and as a group of artists. So it's like really rock with Creatively Mindful. We help manage their art show, A Reason to Dress Up. And some of the things that we do now, but we were doing those things there, like sharing tips about like how to present your artwork, how to do this, and just like being of service to the creative community. So that some of the work that we're starting to do under the brand of Older Dream, Joe and I say like 2016 we were founded, but 2022 is actually when we started doing the work collaboratively together. And Creatively Mindful is definitely a part of that origin story. So of course it wouldn't make sense to not have y'all a part of the podcast.
Thank you.
So I was catching everybody up. Okay, so now I'm gonna let y'all talk, introduce yourselves as artists, what y'all do in the city, whatever you want to share, and then we'll get into the conversation. But yeah, that was kind of teeing up the introduction for everybody.
Sure. Yeah, most definitely. So we're Creatively Mindful. We're a team of 3 art collective here in Baltimore City. And we've been a collective for the last 7 years. It's one of those type things where we had a vision where we wanted to have an art show to put it together, and you get one going, and then you just see what the people want, and you keep it going. So my guys, Rod, Darius, myself, I'm J-Law. We've been doing this for the last 7 years, and our main mission is to give that stage for the artists to meet different people, have a larger platform to sell their work. One of our main principles is we don't take any commission from any work that they sell. We're artists ourselves, so we know how it is when you sell your art piece and you have to give a commission to somebody because they're hosting your work or they're hosting the gallery where your work is in. We try to be a little different and have the artists in control and control their prices. That's one of the main things that we stand for. So we've just been trying to make an impact, and we started here in Baltimore, but we reached out in DC, and we have artists from all over the country come and participate with us from the East Coast, West Coast, up north. We got family in New York art family in New York that come down and politic with us, and it's one of our major missions is just uplift the artists.
Definitely, absolutely. I'm Rod. I'm an artist, muralist, soon to be trainer.
Mm-hmm.
1/3 of Creatively Mindful, and over the past 7 years, venturing in the art community as an artist and as a art collective co-founder, I get to see a interesting perspective from being inside and outside the box, and we kind of run ourselves like a powerhouse, like a hub. I mean, we're 3 Black men from Baltimore, from America, who live and survive and dwell in it. And we put our minds together. We collaborate on all ideas and all efforts. Aside from art shows and events, we also have a community effort called Seeing for the Community, where seasonally we'll go out and we'll call in for the hands and the effort time of our network as well, our community, to help out the less fortunate, whether it's toiletries, food, blankets, socks, you name it. So that's something also that you should look out for. Coming soon, Seeing for the Community, our next iteration.
Yep. I'm Darius, last member of Creatively Mindful, also owner of Echelon Event Rentals. And just like they say, man, we've been in the game now for about 7 years. Them two, they're artists, they do a wonderful job. Honestly, I would just say being with Creatively Mindful has just been an eye opener. I was able to tap into a different realm of creatives and artists and just really see what the outside world was really about. So we really benefit from helping a lot of starving artists and providing them with a platform, and we're able to change like the dynamic of how they look at their work, how they look at art shows, whether it's their first show or their second show. We make sure that we get them out of that element of like being weary of not being able to do the show. And like, got to give a shout out to Oda Dream, because when we brought them in for a reason to dress up, that's exactly what that was for. So they can take our artists by the hand and show them the right way to do it. So thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Indeed. So is everybody ready for the questions? I am going to ask the questions.
Listen, this is why we here. We're ready to talk about it. We ready to talk about it.
So we're talking about like the how to, like literally how to like operate as an artist in abundance. I want to start off like, how do y'all start y'all day? Like, what is the morning ritual? Do you feel like sets you up for success for being like creatives? How do you do the things? How do you start your day?
So I'll start off, and it's crazy because my day has kind of changed over this last month. Shout out to my guy Ross Season. So I usually start my day, I wake up, I read my devotionals, and it used to be I just get straight to work. I'm a very structured, disciplined type person. So when it comes to my artistry, doing this as a full-time artist, I really don't have a problem with getting my day started, going straight to work and things like that. But I found myself kind of getting to that rut where, my ideas are kind of getting stagnant. The creativity really isn't flowing and things like that. So I kind of made a switch the last month to start off, after I read my devotionals, talk to God, things like that, is to work out. Literally the first thing I do after I do that, get out of bed, brush my teeth, all that, and then I go to the gym. And I thank my guy Raj for that. And that's why I say we're a great collective, because it's literally iron sharpens iron. He always talks about that. And working out early in the morning, it gets the blood flowing, gets my brain going. While I'm on the stair climber, while I'm lifting weights, I'm thinking about ideas, because I'm in a different environment. I'm not sitting at my desk inside of my house. And it's like a relief for me to really get other ideas going. And it kind of been that spark for me over the last month, where I'm grateful, because I run into these patterns where, working out isn't a normal thing for me, but I've shifted my mindset before. It's been, I'm trying to do it to lose weight, and I've done it, but once I reach that goal, it's like, I ain't motivated no more. But now it's a mindset thing. Like, this is life. This is routine.
It's a lifestyle.
Exactly. It's a lifestyle. So for me specifically, I think that's been the biggest switch for me, is to have a different type of energy when I wake up and I'm active, to get my brain juices going. Like, it's great physically, I get that, but honestly, it's really mental for me, and it really helps me mentally with my artistry, getting different ideas out, and then I can come back home, get started, and really get my day started. So it's funny you asked that question, because it's been a switch for me personally over this last month, and I'm grateful for it. So shout out to you. I don't know if you've been, I really don't even post, and I be working out like that. So for you to ask that question is really interesting.
I be seeing Rod work out. It was the Mondays. You be doing the Mondays, and I be like, I need to go work out. I'm seeing it.
Never miss a Monday.
94 straight.
So that's been the biggest switch for me. Is starting my day, is really getting that energy going, because that gets my brain going and things like that. it's real. It really is, and I appreciate my God for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I can follow up. So for myself, how I'm starting my day typically is 6 o'clock in the morning, every morning, no matter how late I fall asleep, no matter what time I see the last on the clock. If it's 4:42 at 6 o'clock, I'm getting up. And typically I'm starting the day by getting my kids situated, getting them ready for school, situated. As soon as they're dropped off, my first stop is always the gym. I feel like similar to how J-Law explained, it's a mental thing. For me, it's like therapeutic. If it's too late in the day when I'm getting to the gym, it's kind of like I'm kind of clouded a little bit.
Yeah.
So just having something to channel my energy, it allows me to focus on other things and work through my problems that may be disrupting the creative flow or the organization that I need for the day to get through my schedule, for the day or for the week. And then from the gym is where I'm deciding or dictating where exactly my day is going, whether it's I'm co-working with my guys or I'm going for a consultation for a residential or commercial client, or I'm doing a walkthrough, a site visit. It really, is all coming after the gym. At a point in time, like J-Law, I would wake up. First thing I'm doing is knocking out the earliest client I can, and then I'm moving on to the next. But now it's kind of like I'm focusing on myself first, and then I give myself out to the clients, and then I get my energy out to, whatever business I have scheduled for the day.
And not to interject, but like you said, we feel like we started off by saying we pour into our clients and try to knock them out first, but it's called the Poor Artist Podcast.
Yeah.
We pour into us first, and then we give to others. You got to do that.
Exactly.
It's definitely necessary.
Yeah, that's a fact. For me, I still have my 9 to 5, so I start my day a little different. I wake up at 6. Take care of my dog and all of the responsibilities. But recently, ever since Mr. Deion Sanders dropped that prime, what is it? The premolation.
Oh,
he
yeah.
was like, you ain't make me, so you can't break me. So, I got that plan a lot because I really feel it all through my body when it comes down to it, But after that, I still have my 9 to 5, like I said. So typically I might work from home, but I like being out and about so much. I find different co-working spaces across the city. And then when I'm out, it's like I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone, So I tend to brand myself everywhere I go. So I may have some posters next to me or some business cards. And wherever I'm sitting, it's an eye grab. The same thing with the hoodie on. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, it's good for me to be outside while I'm still actually doing my 9 to 5, because I can still work on my business and I can still do my day-to-day responsibilities, So
That's a great question.
Yeah, exactly.
Joe, how do you start your day?
Smoking weed.
Hey, man.
I try to find a quick opportunity to roll up.
Yeah. 420.
Get my day started. I also just just focus. Just focus. I'll watch some TV. Right now I'm doing a lot of job applications, so applying for work is something that takes up a lot of my time and energy.
For sure.
I get up I'm up by 7:30. And then I do some morning phone calls. I kind of check in with people. I feel like I'm the old, I get with old people, but it's really effective to go ahead and get them calls out the way in the morning.
Check like your people.
Yeah, well, I call Joe 7:30 is Joe's call. He gets a call at 7:30.
That's hard. I like that.
My sorority sister gets a call, and her and I usually talk from 7:45 to 9 o'clock.
Okay.
As we're getting ready, we kind of just set out our day. And then I have another friend that I talk to 8 to 8:30. But I'm still doing stuff. I'm just setting out my day. But I get it out the way. I might call my mom one morning. It just depends. Yeah, but I kind of do my touch bases with my inner circle of people and kind of set my intentions for the day with those people. I did start journaling because I don't know if I told y'all, I'm in a master's program again. I'm getting my master's in divinity. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm wild. Actually, Jill told me to go apply, but I've been wanting to go to seminary for a while. But so yeah, so I in my intro to theological writing course, we're reading The Artist's Way. Have y'all read that book before?
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't.
So it's pretty deep. I like it. It's like about being an artist, like trying to do some things. So it's like another how-to, guys. It's like you journal every morning. Each week you take yourself out on an artist date, like solo date. Something creative, and it's just about like checking in and holding yourself accountable. And it's like a 12-week, I think 8 or 12 week. Nate, you've done it before? Oh, he said he put it in the chat. Okay. So I think that's good. All right. So my second question is, when you're talking about how do y'all maintain your creative practice? Because I'm not creating right now. I don't have the energy. I don't want to do it. Yeah, I burned out. I wrote a play, the draft. I finished the draft in July, and that took a lot out of me. So I'm like, I don't want to create. So like, how do y'all maintain being creatives when you're just like, I don't feel like it. I'm not gonna do it.
So it's the same way how you exactly feel. We all have those days where we just don't feel like it, and you know what? That's okay. You know. At the end of the day, I would say for us, because like we've been together for quite some time now, you know. So it's like, you know, when your guys really isn't feeling that creative spark or anything, or when they send you some work and be like, nah, this ain't it. We know what you can do. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like, we're not going to sugarcoat it in any way. You know, if J-Law sent a design through and it ain't it, me and Raw going to let them know, like, it ain't it at first, but we also going to critique and let them know, like, all right, this is what it is. Same with Raw. He sent a mural design. Yo, what you think about this? With me and my rentals, if I'm pushing out content, no, you can do it this way. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like we feed off of that energy, and just amongst being creatives itself, it just helps, you know. It's because if we're not in that zone right there, it'll come later, you know. So it's a tricky situation, because like not everybody always feel like creating. I know me firsthand, I don't always feel like creating content, but I know I have to do it, you know. And I know if I don't do it, it's not going to get done. You know, I can't send the guys videos like, yo, put this together for me. Nah, they can come through with some suggestions and be like, nah, it should be this way, it should be that way, you know.
Yeah, I agree. But my answer is a little different. I personally feel like we secretly and loudly at the same time motivate and inspire each other, like to the max.
Facts.
Like we have several group chats, and you know, we talk, you know, every day on the phone at some point in time. And there's still times when J-Law will drop a story or drop a reel, or Esha drop a reel, or myself will drop something, and it catches by surprise, and we're not even expecting it. Like, even though we are each other's confidant in the creative and private world too, like, you know, we always, like, we really in the know of what we got going on. So when J-Law may drop a reel, or he just dropped a video on YouTube, and I just said, "Hey,
check it out."
I just watched the first 3 minutes, and I had to let him know. I had to ask him, like, you know, is this awkward for you to hear your own video? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll watch it later. But that alone, he just dropped a video on YouTube of the Henderson Hopkins mural project, and Fire. That alone just inspired me, because I know for myself, I have content sitting that I could drop on YouTube. Yeah. But for my own different reasons and differences, I haven't done it. But he's taken a step to be consistent at it. So that is a perfect example of how it's motivating me and pushing me forward to tomorrow. I'm gonna look at it a little differently than how I looked at it today. With Darius, just, you know, it's the same way. It just goes hand to hand with the fact that it's 3 of us and not just 2 of us. Right. It's never bottlenecked as far as when somebody's catching somebody by surprise with something great to try to, you know, put the next person forward.
And just to like getting inspo from your people is like, that's what it is. You feel what I'm saying? So like both of these guys being on big ass projects, it's like I love to see it.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's the motivation I like. I recently just was a vendor for the Love Brew Festival, the 7th annual. You know, shout out to Black Gas Flea Market for throwing the oop. You know, and it's just stuff like that. It's the people that's around you, the motivation. You know, so when they on big projects, I just know I'm like, yeah, mine's coming up, and I'm gonna talk about it too. You know, so we feed off of that. You know, it's like when anybody drops something in the chat, it's energy.
Yeah, that's
1000%. It's energy. It's never anything else other than energy. You know, this is the greatest graphic designer in the world.
and it's accountability, because we're able to hold each other accountable and criticize each other's work without any hard feelings. Like, I'll tell J-Lo, hey, I think this can be a little stronger. I'll tell Darius, hey, I think that this cut can be cleaner, or, you know, you should redo this, or they do the same thing for me, but we never take it, you know, in hard feelings and go ghost in the chat. You know, that's just not a thing with us. We're going to still pull up present and stand on exactly what we did wrong and fix it and improve it and send it back looking for more edits, you know, looking for how to improve it.
And I think to add on to that from even a different perspective, but still adding on to their points, is we're artists, you know, and we're freelance artists. Darius, he's an event planner, but I still say that as an artist as well, because as being the event planner, the event rentals, you're giving somebody the tools to create the space, and you have to figure out how it's going to look aesthetically and things like that. So with that being said, just the reality of it, at least for my stature, I think they can agree too, a lot of work that we do to get paid is for other people through commissions, through being, you know, recommended for different jobs and things like that. So when you think about it from that perspective, when you're doing commission work, when you're doing murals where you're being commissioned to do that, when you're the event rentals for Love Brew Fest where it's not your own event, you have to see their vision. So you have to really pour into them. But at the same time, we have to create our own work as well. And it's like that catch-22 of, I need to get paid. I get it. You know, we support ourselves. But also at the same time, we have to feed our own creative mind. We have to feed our own creative stance. So I have artwork that I want to come out with. I have artwork that I want to work on that will maybe take me an entire year to do. But the fact that we have it next to us, and the fact that we have the way our working relationship works is like we always go to each other's houses. So I could be working on something they never even seen.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And they pull up on me, and it may be 25% done, and I'm getting a critique from them on my personal work that I haven't even shared with the world. And it's that mix and that balance that you have of like feeding into others. You know, I do graphic design work, I do branding work for other companies and things like that. But at the same time, I have to feed into my own creative prowess. And like the question that you raised for us is like, how do you maintain that creativity? And you got to have that balance between your own personal work, whether it takes you a year to complete it. You just got to always be working on something different. Like, oh, that's tough. Sign the building.
What's up, bro?
That's tough. But you always have to be working on something, for yourself, because when you keep feeding to different people, you kind of lose that creativity for yourself. And that's really what being an artist is about. Like, you have ideas coming out of your mind that nobody else has. Literally nobody else has. So you have to be able to take that balance from feeding into others and creating for yourself as well, no matter how long the process takes.
That's a fact. Right.
How do y'all how do you work with each other as friends?
I get this question.
How do y'all how do you work as friends?
Like, are you asking like how are we business partners and friends?
Yep.
Okay.
How to? We gotta, because here's the thing. Here's the context. So Joe and I have like this running joke about like, what if Wyclef and Lauryn Hill just would have had a conversation? And like, we literally just want to like start talking to artists about like some things. And it's actually in our standard operating procedures about like stuff can get messy because artists, we like to work together. We friends, we have all the things, and things get messy, particularly, we know how it gets messy. Y'all know, so it's like, how do y'all work as business partners and as friends? And Joe, I'm going to have you start first.
Okay, Joey.
I'm putting him on the spot.
You wasn't expecting that one.
No.
I think it's a matter of understanding what your boundaries are and what the other person's boundaries are, and doing your best to meet in the middle of that, so that you're able to be efficient in whatever it is you're creating. Because that consistency shows up for me as a musician. It shows up in the beats that I select to perform on. It shows up in how I interact with the world in the morning. It's just a matter of being really solid and understanding what your own what your own ideas are and what you're bringing to the partnership in order for it to make the most sense for everybody involved. It's going to take some creativity. It's going to take it's going to take a little bit of money. It's going to take a little bit of resources, but abundant relationships is a part of life. So that's how I answer that.
What about you, Bridgette?
Yeah, you thought you were good.
So anytime I've done a business endeavor, I've always brought my friends along. So I've never envisioned something and didn't bring friends with me on the journey. So it's really hard for me because people are like, no, that's your vision. I'm like, no, the vision was us. There wasn't just me. And so I have a hard time just with that. Like, because sometimes like leadership, like you kind of have to like be a leader, you know what I'm saying? Because it is a vision that was like, like Jordan, you were saying earlier, like, like you have ideas that only you were given, you know what I'm saying? So there are certain things that like, the Older Dream residency, we just got a grant for, by the Deutsche Foundation, right? And it's like, yes, it's like, woo, we're gonna announce that. But it's like, the curriculum was something that just like I birthed from an idea. Now, of course, we're going to expand it, but the main curriculum is that's me. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Joe is a good partner and an amazing partner in the work that we're doing. But like when we get ready to start executing that, it's going to have to come some type of leadership skills. And then I have to go to him like, what you think? Like, we need to add this. Like, I see it this way, but like, what do you think? And that's how we talk. Like, there's never a decision that I make in a silo. I try to bring people collaboratively with it. If there are things I have to make decisions like on, I like try to like I try to communicate as much as I can and say like, okay, I have to make this decision because of a time sensitive like matter. There's not a lot of time sensitive. I'm hoping that there are things that I can communicate in the way. And then it's sometimes like, because like I have friends that you can't like talk to them any kind of way or treat them kind of way because you be like, oh yeah, that's my friend. You know what I'm saying? Like they get it because it's like it's business too. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can't. So I have to like, for me, I think sometimes like I have to be like cognizant of like, Bridgette, you're still, like this is still a business. And if I had an employee or whatever, because I don't consider us employees, but like for all intents and purposes, we want Older Dream to be an organization that will have a staff of like 20 people, right? So like I can't talk to a person on staff and be like, well, you know what, because you know me, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, they'd be like, HR, I would like to make a report. So I'm learning that now with my friend, and I have like gentle correction or and just loving and guidance and stuff like that. So I'm thankful for our friendship that we've been able to navigate that. But it's it's challenging because it's like I want the world for all my friends, and so I push them too. I always say I'm everyone's biggest hypest cheerleader, and then sometimes what Joe was saying, knowing your boundaries. How do I then like know when I need to pour into myself and be my own best friend? You know what I'm saying? And tend to myself. And sometimes I pour so much into other people, I don't go back and pour into myself. So yeah, it's a lot of different things I think about.
For sure. You want to start?
Yeah. So I think with us, just to give you a little bit of background knowledge, when we started Creatively Mindful, Me and Rod was probably the closest. Like we were locked in since like high school, but like we started working together. We got an internship in high school, and we just really started clicking there. So we were interested in the art and things like that. So that's really what got us closely. Darius, I knew Darius because Darius was just always around. Like Darius, he was just always there. You know what I mean? This man is the social butterfly. He was a great guy to bring on board for, you know, what we had going on, and it really was honestly just a chance of is he good with the business and friendship. I wasn't that close to Darius, but I knew who Darius was. He was always a good time when we went out. Like it just clicked. But the most recent interaction, I think, that doesn't have to do with Crazy Mindful, but in the business aspect, Rod is on a journey of being a trainer, right? And we're friends and everything, and we worked out together about 2 weeks ago.
We about to do that
at UFIT. But this is crazy because this is a great example. Because it's really the difference between business and friendship, but you know the foundation of what you have. So, like Rod is a trainer, he's gonna push you extraordinary. Like I really have no complaints about him. Darius was doing exercise, and Rod was pushing him for the exercise. Darius got so mad, like upset. They yelling at each other, but you know what the mission is: to better yourself, to get your body better, and things like that. And you really need somebody like that. Fussing literally in the gym about not doing your sets and not going pushing yourself. Literally, I'm not even gonna make this up. 5 seconds after yelling at each other, he finished the set. He got through it. They dapped each other up like it's a celebration. Like you can't make that up because it went from tension that you have in business and disagreements, but at the end of the day, you know what the main goal is, and you really have to have that chemistry with somebody and really know the person for that to happen. Now, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. If that was somebody else that wasn't a friend, like we haven't been locked in for this long, I don't know if they would have adapted up after they was finished that. But you know how you can push somebody, and the going gets tough. You know when we have disagreements with the business, but you know at the same time you can switch between business and friendship, and we do that all the time with meetings. We always have our sessions when we joking, but we get serious when it's necessary. And I just think we're able to really turn it on and turn it off and hold each other accountable. And that's the main thing. I had to say that. I had to start
that was a great one.
That was a great example.
Who was right and who was wrong?
I don't think nobody was like wrong because Darius truly felt the way he felt. Like he really felt he couldn't have done it. Like when you're in the moment and you feel like you can't do something, you go and express yourself, but you know this is your expertise. And you know as a trainer's expertise, you can push yourself. It's really mental.
Exactly.
So I don't think nobody's wrong, but I'm glad that you didn't. You gotta think, when you really.
I didn't give up on him.
Exactly.
That was the whole point. He was ready to give up on himself, but I didn't give up on him.
I wasn't ready to give up on myself. I just want his hand right there.
But the point is, I was pushing him a little further than he
wanted to go.
Than he was comfortable pushing himself. If I was to keep my hands off the machine, he would have allowed himself to go halfway.
Exactly.
But I pushed him to a little closer to 100%.
Yeah.
And because he was a little resistant to that, of course, we have our friction. I mean, at the end of the day, we're both humans and we both men. So, we're going to have differing opinions. But at the end of the day, he knows that it's all love. And he knows that I'm just trying to push him to be a better version of himself, the same way he's doing for me in another realm. But in the gym, he knows that I know what I'm talking about.
That's your business.
You can argue all you want, but you either going to do it right and see results or not do it and risk hurting yourself or just plateau. Yeah. So, it's all love at the end of the day. Like the same way, it'll be about a design or about a reel or about an email or a lack of doing something, overdoing something. However it comes, we're going to stand on however we feel, but address it accordingly. Just, as men, as friends.
The beauty of it was the seamless transition from the friction to the love. Like, you can't make that up. Yeah.
The security footage would have looked like, are they acting? Like, what is this? Is this a skit?
Yeah, no, for real. Nah, like literally what they said, it's just we always seem to be like on the same frequency. You feel what I'm saying? Like, even when we not, something bridges that gap and bring it together. You know, even when it comes down to like ideas of like when we coming up for more details regarding, let's say, a reason to dress up. J-Law may want it one way, I may like it this way, and then Rod may side with J-Law. But now I'm fighting my argument on why I don't like this. You know what I'm saying? So now we come together and they see like, all right, well, like, let's bridge it like this. Maybe we can make the two meet, and then we can do it. You know, so like they say, you know, at the end of the day, we definitely brothers. You know, it's definitely brotherhood before it is business. You feel me? And we've never had any static or any of that within our relationship or within our business. Like that disagreement right there, we probably have a disagreement like that once a year between all of us. Literally once a year.
And it's probably always based around the gym.
Like,
Just for the record, like it's always probably based around the same thing. But outside of that, it's always love. Because like you said, it's brotherhood before business. It's really family before anything else with us.
Yeah, because like creatively mindful, like that's all of us. You feel what I'm saying? So the fact that that's all of us, we put that first. But at the end of the day, we put ourselves first. We make sure we put, like Raw has a family, put his family first. So we know everything that comes first before the actual business. And then we get to it. Our meetings start off with an hour of joking. Let's be real. Yeah. We want to go into a meeting, and the meeting has to be a serious meeting. The reason to dress up could be a week away. And guess what? We going to joke from 7 to 8. And then from 8 to 9, we're going to be serious. You know? And it was just like we had that balance within the relationship and within the business.
Yeah.
We How to Older Dream, we do adulting meetings on Tuesday. So like we like if we're not talking about business, we're like, look, what do you need to do to be an adult today?
Like that. I like that.
And Joe put that in the operating agreement, and I was like, well, you're a chief operating officer. I'm gonna put it on the calendar. I'm gonna do what you tell me to do. But like, Joe, tell me about like the adulting meetings. Like, what made you think of putting in the adulting meeting? I never asked you. I just executed it.
Yeah, I think the adulting, because it can just be so daunting. The idea of being able to make enough money to pay the rent, pay Peter, pay Paul, do all these things, and it's like sometimes you just need help assessing the situation before taking care of the responsibilities that you know come along with being an adult. Mm-hmm. So being able to accomplish those things, making sure you're eating right, making sure you're, you know, getting the right amount of rest based upon your situation. You know, I think it all counts. It all counts. So you want to put up good numbers when it comes to productivity in your business, and sometimes that comes from having a really good relationship with self-care, and sometimes you just need help getting there.
Right.
Yeah, we do the adults and meetings, and then we're like, so how can we support you? You know, like I'd be like, put a reminder because I need to do this. I need to send this email, or I need to go pick up this prescription. Can you just remind me later? And we also ask people like, what are you working on creatively, and how we can support people creatively. So our executive assistant, Christelle, she was like, I need to go dancing. She was like, I need to do a dancing class because I really love dancing. And then the next week we was like, did you dance? Did you do what you were supposed to do?
It's that accountability, you know. Same way with us in the gym. Where it's like, prime example. I had a class the other day, a Canva class I'm taking, social with Solar, Solar from Black.
Yeah, Christelle is in it. Christelle is in it.
Yeah, for sure. I seen her in there, you know. And I usually go to the gym around noon, around my lunchtime. I didn't go to the gym that day. You feel what I'm saying? So it was the accountability that I went later that night. From 9 to 10, J-Law hit my DM when he saw me there. He was like, dedication, you know. I had to do it, you know. If I didn't go tonight, when was I going to go? I was going to push that workout off for the next day. So definitely understand that.
For sure.
I mean, those are my questions. See, y'all not so bad. I mean, are there any other how-tos y'all want to share when y'all thought about the topic? Like, what are things that you just like, let me put y'all on game on how to as a creative.
It's really just building up a network. It's just having somebody that is good at a particular thing and having multiple people like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that graphic design, I can think of a handful of great graphic designers. I can think of 2 or 3 handfuls because of our network. We deal with so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
But for myself, personally, I really know one that I'm going to call, and that's him. I don't care how big he is. I don't care how much his fee goes up based off of how popular and how brilliant, the world starts catching on and now his prices go. I don't care. I know one graphic designer. I know that when it comes to event rentals, I can think of a handful of event rental places because we've dealt with handfuls of them over the course of 7 years of events. But I know that it's one guy I'm gonna call.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I can, go on with several people that I think of when it comes to different realms within the industry and within, your needs as a business person. I think that's the strongest takeaway from it, is just having a village, having somebody, having a team that you can rely on for just help or just for motivation or inspiration or just an outlet to try to work ideas through. I know for J-Lo and I, probably like the last 7 years, 92% of art ideas we've ran by each other at some phase, at some point, whether it's beginning stages, whether it's the final edits, whether it's the, hey, look at this real quick, I got to send this email in 2 minutes. It doesn't matter. At some point in time, or, hey, bro, I need help on this job. Hey, bro, I need you to come help me paint this.
Exactly.
It's like one hand washing the other, essentially. So having somebody or having, the people that you can lean on, regardless of what it is, that's going to always push you forward.
I think one thing that I feel like is crazy about like today's times that wasn't even a thing in the like early 2000s or even before then, it's like we really have created an ecosystem where we can all depend on each other. And I struggle with it myself. A lot of times I do a lot of things myself, but you meet a lot of people in this creative world where you have the specialty. You don't need to learn everything. You know what I mean? You add value to something where somebody else can add value to you. Y'all can either, work with each other, or you can break bread with this person because they have the specialty to combine and do an entire team, build an entire team for whatever project you have. It doesn't have to be anything permanent. It can be for a project that you have going on for a month. It could be a mural that you're doing. Like, it's interesting because like even the murals that I did this year, this past summer, just thinking about going into it, I'm like, damn, I gotta record myself. I'm always thinking about I have to do everything myself, but I don't. So I tapped in with Black Ass Flea Market. They recommended me to Bree from the Bold Productions to do video. You know what I mean?
Shout out Beezy.
Exactly. Shout out Beezy.
with it.
I did a mural last year, and come to find out, videographer, drone photographer, ended up doing the cover for Visit Baltimore. His name I linked up with him. He did some footage for me from Henderson Hopkins. Shout out to him. Forever grateful.
It's just a network.
Exactly. Rod. If I got anything painting, I'm calling him. So that's that. Like, I literally created a whole ecosystem for what I had going on because I know my talents and my strengths, but there's no need to overextend myself because we live in a world now where like we're really creative. Like we can do anything. Like
specialized.
Exactly.
And it's like everybody brings something to the table. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you can outsource anything from somebody black.
Your own people.
Your own people. The relationships is 100% worth more than the money. I would much rather build a relationship with you than give you an invoice for $1,000.
Exactly. For one time you can build.
You feel what I'm saying?
It can be way bigger, way better with the relationship.
Exactly. So I think that's for me personally, I felt like that's been a cheat code that I've learned because I'm just real, like I can do it myself, but in reality, I don't have to do it myself. Like I really don't. And think
about the caliber like that you in. Like you in a position right now to where as though you could bring on a entry level videographer, right, and like you can introduce them to the new. Now you feel what I'm saying? Like the place you in right now, you can put people on.
Exactly.
You feel me?
And that's the whole point. Is like you cover so much more ground by expanding this way instead of trying to do everything yourself. You know what I mean? And that's been my biggest. I think that's my biggest like caveat I can give to other creators right now is like you really don't have to do it alone. Like I have these conversations all the time with them, just with other people in terms of like spreading the wealth. Like that's really a thing. Like it really is.
It really is.
It's really a thing, and I really
It works.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
Facts.
grateful
It works.
to really have the mindset to think that way now first instead of like trying to do everything myself. That really was me.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Same. Overextend myself.
Exactly.
I'm worn down, tired, not sleeping enough.
That's how we reached out to y'all for Reason to Dress Up last year. Like we was doing all that ourselves, and having that weight lifted off our back is crazy and so much help. And we're forever grateful for y'all and what y'all provide to creatives and for artists, because it's major. It's really something that more
y'all
people
providing a relief to artists that's taken away from their everyday duties and struggles, and just the mental weight that you deal with.
For sure.
Trying to figure it out.
And you see how that gap bridges right there? Like we have the artists. You feel what I'm saying? Like it all comes together.
No, it was definitely, it felt like when we first met with y'all, it was like, oh yeah, this is something. We can do this. So we are at the end where we just kind of share some resources that we know about so that we can just share out to other people. So this is an opportunity. Tell us what y'all got coming up. Tell us the resources. This is where y'all talk about y'all's commissions, hires, like boost yourselves up, whatever, training services. I know some people out there need to get trained. It's winter time. Summer bodies made in the winter. But yeah, just share the resources you got, and then Joe and I will share some resources, and then we'll close out.
For sure. I'll start off with CM stuff and then the space that I'm in. So, this year we've been doing a partnership with the Highlandtown Arts Collective and Peak Performance, where we've been hosting monthly First Friday art walks at Peak Performance Gym in Highlandtown, where we highlight artists that are able to showcase their work to the neighborhood of Highlandtown, Canton, Patterson Park, all that great stuff. So we've been doing that every month since June, and we're continuing it probably until, I don't know if we're going to do December, but probably through November until it gets like super cold. So that's something for artists to always tap into. We've been working with, Bridgette for a locally grown festival. Definitely going to be tapping in with them. That's October 21st, October 22nd. That's going to be crazy because it's like all things creative, all things arts, from visual artists to performances as well. And I think that's going to be something great for the city. Also, I've really been in like my muralist bag this year. So I just want to say for artists that want to do something like that or want to create public art, to definitely tap into Maryland State Arts Council and Baltimore Office for Promotion and Arts. You literally can just have an idea and connect with somebody that owns some type of space in the city. It can be a vacant building. It can be a building that they own. It can be a school. It can be literally anything. And if they're able to sign off for you to do artwork for them, you can apply for grants and they'll pay for the entire project. Yep. That's something that I didn't even know was a thing. Rod put me on to the mural game and things like that. So me getting more into it and tapping into how these things can get funded, there's literally budgets set aside in Baltimore City, literally every county in Maryland, on top of the Maryland state government having a arts budget for public art. Tap into them. It's very, very feasible for you. If you have something for the impact for the community, and if you're a dope artist, of course, I promise you it's going to get paid for you to do something like that. That's probably my biggest gem that I can give to people is the money is there. It really is. It's just about you going out and getting it and being proactive and finding that network.
So he already touched on Creatively Mindful, so I guess I could tell you a little bit about Echelon. So again, I own an event rental company based here in Baltimore, Maryland, covering the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Tables, chairs, tents, high tops, round, 6 foot. Recently just got some new inventory and some marquee numbers.
Talk about it.
That was very quiet as kept and just dropped them. First debut is going to be tomorrow at a kid's birthday party.
Crazy.
So you can use these for trade shows, weddings, anniversaries, any type of event that needs a number. Graduations, Exactly. You see how I was giving y'all what I gave y'all. He just said, "Yeah, this is what else you gonna use it for." You feel me? So, yeah, that's a little bit it. And just say book now. Follow me at Echelon Event Rentals ___ and Creatively Mindful at creatively.mindful on Instagram. You forgot to put that out there for sure.
For myself,
it's Mr. Prolific right here, y'all.
For myself, coming soon, I'll be a certified personal trainer, transforming lives, transforming mindsets, transforming daily routines, just, for you to build a better you. Right now, you can follow me on Instagram at Raw Season, RODSZN. And inside the bio, you'll also find all your painting needs, whether it's commercial, residential, or accent wall, mural, at Resto, just like Restore, but resto.com in my bio. I'm always working, always looking for more clients. So, it's time to get right one way or the other.
That's the one thing I can say though, like every last one of us, when we are all busy at the same time. You feel what I'm saying? Like we are all busy at the same time. He may have a client, I may have a client. But it's at the same time on a weekly basis we're working on something, And he can be in crunch time. You feel what I'm saying? But I don't care that he in crunch time because I need something right now. You feel me? So I need to run this idea past you, and I need you to see what I'm not seeing, and that's just really how we work.
Exactly. And before we get off, we definitely want to thank Ode to Dream. Yes. Connecting with y'all last year, like, it's definitely grateful the things that y'all doing in the city, and for us to be a part of it, we can't thank y'all enough. Like, this is like true partnership. When we say,
the relationship is bigger than the money.
It literally,
it's way bigger than just one invoice or one-way benefit. We've been able to continue and build and grow our relationship. We're definitely grateful for y'all. For sure.
1,000%.
Indeed. Joe, you got any resources?
Yeah, you can get a really good chopped cheese out of our house.
My friend said the same thing. It's like TOGs, right?
TOGs, yeah.
Yeah.
You can get a chopped cheese out of that junk.
I ain't gonna hold you.
I don't know about our house, but you been to Salsa Grill? Yeah, see, you sleeping on Salsa Grill, and get a cream of crab while you at it.
We got okay.
We got some food spots. Listen, the one thing we gonna do is eat. You feel what I'm saying? Like when I tell you we got gems in the city when it comes to food, endless.
Oh yeah. I need a list. We need a list then. We could say that's the next how-to. Like, how do you find the best spots in the city?
No, for real.
So yeah, Older Dream, we right now we're doing a lot of our Sunday dinners. It's once a month. We just announced that we're collaborating with Black Betty's Cuisine to kind of bring it more frequently. So starting next month, we'll have a free creatives dinner, but then also a ticketed dinner, and have creatives perform at it. So we're looking for creatives to perform at our ticketed dinners. We are going to do a New Year's Eve Sunday dinner, so we might need these numbers for. So we need to connect, and y'all pull up at our New Year's Eve Sunday dinner. So check us out about the full announcement. We are dropping merch next Friday.
Hey, that's lit.
And they were designed by Jackson, who was on our first episode, and Jackson and Josie. Jackson was on the first episode. And Jackson is coming back next week and talk about the work they've been doing. Josie is a first-year student in college in New York. So a part of the work we were doing with them, shout out to Dent Education. We got Denterns over the summer. They designed the T-shirt for us. And we're finalizing a contract with them so they get paid royalties off of every shirt that we sell. So we know for artists, some people could just get like a flat rate, at the beginning. But it's like if we start selling that shirt for forever, like, that flat rate can just get out of nowhere, over time. So we want to make sure that they know that they can always get money from their work. So they're getting royalties off that shirt, but y'all need to buy the shirt so we can get Jackson and Josie some money. That's what I'm saying. And then we have an event coming October 18th called Fly Artists, which is like us having some artists, and they're going to be styled by fashion consultant Sam Smith, who is with New Vintage by Sam. And they're curating the look. Because, you know, some artists would be like, what do I need to wear? I got this event coming up. So we're going to like have them set up. Onyx Market Collective will be providing a clothing rack for us. It's going to be, we'll announce the location because we want to make sure it's solidified. But October 18th, fly artists, come out to that. Come out to our Sunday dinners. We actually have like one more ticket left for Sunday dinner on Sunday. That's coming up this Sunday. But otherwise, we'll be there monthly. It's on our website. And yeah, Mr. Rashawn, he got an album release tonight. He DJ, so I'm going to that. Yeah, so I'm gonna pull up on that tonight. So that's another resource. You need a DJ in the city, holla at him. I think that's it. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all follow creatively.mindful, follow Dreamfly Dreams. And if y'all follow, make sure y'all follow Echelon Event Rentals, follow Creatively Mindful, take a screenshot and send it to us so you'll get a free t-shirt. So make sure y'all follow those.
Make sure y'all do that.
Because if y'all don't send a screenshot, then you can't get a t-shirt. I'm sorry. So it just is what it is. Good night, everybody.
Night. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Miss Tynes said, how you wanna curd? Miss Tynes said, how you wanna curd? Miss Tynes said, how you wanna curd? What's up, what's up?